All right. Wait for some folks to filter in here. I already apologize in advance for my voice. I don't even know how much it's going to make it. It's a little sore right now, but we're back. We're back. I don't know if anybody's going to show up on YouTube, but we'll go check in here. Well, I can't see what you guys are saying yet. Give me a second. All right. Now I can see. Oh, how stupid am I? I can't even see my own crap. Here we go. Well, it's pretty late, and I didn't expecting many people, but it was more so for the people that want to see this tomorrow. I've had a lot of people either DM me or reach out on Twitter about um, thoughts about the winter, and so we're going to cover a lot of that, but also I mean, we have big weather to cover for this weekend as well, because if we take a look at what's coming this weekend, we have a real dynamic system into a big, deep trough. Right? We can see that at 500. Let me see. Big deep trough that's coming in through the southeastern U.S. and that's going to phase with another piece of energy that's coming in, piece of energy, whatever you want to call it, that's going to be coming in from Canada, right? And I'll inject some cold air in, but not until it's too late to really be a big time snowstorm. That's why this is all rain for the majority of the Northeast until after. Once that swings in, that piece swings in, that's where you can start to see the cold air, and that's where you can see the snow start to come in as well, because now we're actually, excuse me, tapping into this colder air that's up here in Canada. Because right now, the reason why this is so warm, because it's a trough, a little bit of a warm core situation too going on, with some tropical characteristics where we're really pulling in some deep moisture, and also its origin point is here. Origin points for storms are critical to look at in terms of the air it's going to be moving, right? Storms move air, right? They can produce cold air the stronger they get, obviously, but only can do so much depending on where its origin point comes from, right? And that's something we'll talk about a little bit more throughout this winter as well. To make an emphasis on in terms of where are we getting our cold air from to get snowstorms, right? And for this storm, we don't have that. Right, this is Gulf of Mexico. That's where air is coming from. That's why this is a warm air storm. And then as we see a little bit of this partial phase take place here. Never really even fully phases. It kind of just closes, sheds that piece off, and ends up being cut off low for days. So that'll be something to watch down the road for the potential for maybe something way down the road. But for now, we don't need to worry about that. Just going to focus on potential impact for this storm briefly. Just spew some of my winter thoughts. Specifically, in terms of the rain threat, let's see, we can go to eastern. Right. There's also a tornado threat I think we'll see tonight and tomorrow. That will be associated North Carolina, maybe even up here. There could be really minimal tornado threat to the southern Atlantic as well. And then there'll be a threat for thunderstorms across I-95 corridor with this storm as well. Right, just briefly covering thoughts, right? Every storm deserves my due diligence to go over, right? Can't skip over everything. Overall, too, like 2 to 4 inches of rain. I see. This seems like a good groundwork or it seems like a good bet for much of the area and some isolated 4 to 8 inch totals. Because think about, I think some of those there could be a little bit more widespread pockets, right? You see that swath picked up here on the NAM. We go to GFS, you can see the swath here in South Carolina. Probably wherever that, or you can see it's indicating like, it's almost not really dual band, but it's indicating, right, this right here I would look at and say, boom, South Carolina, that's one sweet spot, and then maybe as we see that low start to intensify again, depending on the pockets, you can see how this low could stretch out as well once that partial phase starts to take place. But then as we start to see this low intensify again, notice right how we're going to pull in more moisture as well up into here. All right, and so as that happens, that's another pocket to look at maybe for like 3 to 7 inches. But that deepest, most tropical air is going to allow the highest rainfall production to probably be somewhere in around Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina in terms of the highest rainfall totals, where it's going to be pulling in, right? We talked about when crops go negative, right? They pull in that moisture, right? They pull it in. And that's what's going to be happening here. It's going to be intensifying, right? And it's going to want to wrap around that moisture into the system as it moves north. I notice that phase starts to happen. We get the isobars to invert a little bit too, which will prevent really true deep cyclogenesis from happening. So preventing this thing from getting into the low 970s or anything. But then cold air on the backside, get some lake effect, and some terrain induced snow as well by the Appalachians. So this is a pretty big deal. And then in terms of wind, I think 40 to 60 mile an hour gusts is a good bet for widespread across the East Coast. And then we can talk about maybe some 50 to 75 mile per hour gusts are possible. Maybe in and around southern New England, potentially Long Island. We can get a little bit more in depth with that if I do another stream tomorrow night or something. But for now, we'll leave it at that. I don't want to go too in depth in terms of the wind because that's always a tricky forecast. I haven't looked deep enough to give you an honest about that. So, anything about that storm before we move on to winter thoughts? Off dropped the entire economy. Nothing? All right. If you put it in right now, I'll answer, but we'll go on to winter. Excuse me. What I actually want to do too is no, not what I wanted to do. It's all right. So in terms of this winter, it's not looking great at the moment, obviously. But you gotta remember it's a long winter. Just like it is a game. It's a long winter. It's a very long winter. So in terms of teleconnections, that's where I really want to focus first. Teleconnections are critical when looking at long range winter because that means we're not looking at the short term. In terms of longer range, I think we have to look at teleconnections, and what we look for is negative EPO, positive PNA, negative NA. That is what we're looking for, and let's simply just break that down. Oh damn! Why is the Twitter locked? Oh, so you guys can't chat at all right now? That's horrible. I'll try to figure that out for next year, but hopefully this just you can DM me or freaking comment on whatever. I know it's better to do it in stream, but I'll try to figure that out. So I'll look at it at the end of the stream. I'll try to fix it for you guys so you can ask questions. But negative EPO, right? That is what we look for. That's basically, right, we get that big dome of high pressure out here that allows the cold air to flow down into the central um, and eastern United States. That's simple. Um, Whereas positive EPO is we have cold air flooded and we have intrusion of warm air that goes across the central and eastern United States. Typically happens when we have a really active subtropical jet stream, which is exactly what we have right now. So that's part of also why the things that have not gone our way so far is we've got a positive EPO. November was at like 0.6 degrees above, and I forget what December is, but for a little while now, that's why it hasn't really get sustained long cold air throughout much of the winter, um, at least so far yet. So what we're looking for is we're looking for a negative EPO. That's one thing. Another thing we're looking for is the negative NAO. We'll get to the NAO next. PNA. PNA actually hasn't been all that bad, but I really like this website. Shout out North Georgia Weather. I've looked at this website before, and it's just a good, simple explanation of of what we're looking at. And excuse me. All right, we're looking for a positive PNA, and as you can see, negative dip in the PNA over the last little. But I don't know what month that is, so I can't say exactly. I'm gonna go on a limb here. That looks like, man, that looks like to December. Looks like November right there. Point being, oh, here we go. No, that's 2022. Point being, right, same thing. We look at our Pacific oscillation, right? The Pacific is very important right now. We're not getting what we need from the Pacific. That's not cooperating, and that is why we yet have any significant sustained cold air periods along the northeastern or mid Atlantic parts of the United States. We have. Can I pause that? Oh, crap. I want to pause it. Right, with a strong we neither do we have strong positive PNA, right? Our PNA had too bad of a factor, but if we get a really strong PNA, we get significant ridging out west, and significant ridging out west allows storms to dive in. So if you come to PNA with a negative EPO, that allows cold air to filter down. Excuse me, and right, and we have strong ridging out west and over towards Alaska. So now we're allowing storms to drop in and potentially, get some deep troughs with cold. That's how those two go in hand. And then the last part of this is the negative NAO. Negative NAO, this most common one people know is you get that big block because the negative NAO can solve a lot of problems when those cooperating sometimes just to get a chance for snow. Opportunity for cold air to filter down, right? A lot of times these correlate, right? Bridging out west, and cold air come in, and locking up here prevents storms from cutting. Right, and this block, ideally, is going to allow storms to stop and kick out, or if you get the right track, essentially ride around, try to go around block if you get the right. This is east based negative NAO right here. Typically, west based negative NAO if you want. is what you look for if you're like a place like Boston or New York City for a lot of times for snowstorms. Big times. Computers get hyped up here. I don't like that. It's going to die soon. Let's fix that. I don't like this. I don't like that whatsoever. It looks like I'm on a clock now. Crap ain't charging. Hold up. What a smooth first street for you. Can't chat. Computer's on the fritz. There we go. Nope, not there. We go. We lost another percent. She's dying. This is not good. Losing people. What a disaster. Something. Back up to 12. Not charging. What the hell is happening now? If I could blame you, I would. All right, we're just gonna wing it. If it dies, it dies. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And so yeah, so that's what we look for. We have a negative NAO. That is going down though. Is one thing. Right? Look at our negative NAO. Right, we have a pretty good negative NAO um, above 1 degree. My problem is that is about to go towards more positive, which is not great. Just trying to stay on the end. Not too bad. About a half a degree, to maybe towards a degree. But right as the significant um, with a lot of warm air. So that's the dumbest way I can um, for me to tangibly say what I want to say right now. Um, you can see the tip we have in correlating rate of run. Yeah, right here, right? 17. Right. So boom, boom, boom. Right. Those in the next couple weeks or so. So a little bit of cooperation there. I don't get a negative. The EPO is not on here. I was looking for that. But right here, all this warm air, right? Lots of ridging, means higher height lines going into the west, which isn't necessarily a lot, right? Talk about ridging, right? But there's a difference between this kind of ridging and this kind of ridging. We want vertical ridging in the western U.S., right? Not horizontal. The horizontal means we have higher height lines, and now we need something to break this down. And if we don't get that, it becomes a problem. So if we look back at the models now, if we care. North Atlantic. North America, that's what I want. We're looking for is polar vortexes here. That's what we're looking for. Something to mess with the pattern. Storm that could mess with the pattern. On this weekend, that might do a little bit. Right? Notice how we're getting really deeper height lines. That's what we like that. Deep drops, that's what we like. Problem is though, notice Nowhere throughout this do we see a quieted Pacific, right? We're not right. We have ridging, but notice it's more horizontal, and so it's infusion of Pacific. Let's just start early. That's where we're at in the winter, but it's December 17th, right? And for a lot of people, I talk about this every winter. If you don't, if you live New York City and southward, right? So if you live here, and a lot of people live here, a lot of times you only need one storm to get what you want during the winter. Apologize everybody coming in that can't chat. Wow, look at that the end of the stream. My computer's freaking dead. But for a lot of people here, you only need one storm. And then maybe you'll get a couple other sporadic small snowflake events to happen as well. But you only need one storm. Right now, if you live here, then yeah, you're gonna need more. You're gonna need more than that. I tried to include Connecticut. Sorry, Connecticut. I hate you. But you have to take into account that there's especially in the South too. I mean, I didn't even include you guys. I guess I include all my folks here. Right? All it takes is one storm for you guys to hit your winter goals. So for you guys, I wouldn't really panic all that much. Other thing we talked about, and I'm gonna need another freaking cough drop. I'm just absolutely on fire with this stream right now. I can't even freaking find it. Another thing you guys got to consider is it does not. You got to look at beginnings and endings of patterns. So when you look at potential patterns that are pattern changing, right? Right, and it doesn't mean it has to be a pattern. Just beginning and ending of patterns. A lot of times can look for potential big storm to happen. That's something I picked up on over the years too. It's just below that. There's not a lot more explaining to do, just for curiosity's sake. Like that. There's a little bit of cold air infused in that. I'm just looking. Point being, not in the cards right now for anything significant, but you gotta be patient with this stuff. It's not all. Um, you're not gonna get all your snowfall. To happen right away. Right. You just need, for a lot of people, you need just one storm to happen throughout the winter. At least folks out to me. And then if you live in New England, sometimes you just need, or you live in the Northeast, Hudson Valley, whatever, PA, North Jersey. Maybe you just need that one pattern, and that's how you're going to get your snowfall. Right? You get into a pattern for a few weeks, and that may be all it takes. You get a couple of big snowstorms, and you're able to salvage some stuff there to get an average winter. Right? We're strong El Nino though. What that mean? Strong El Ninos are horrible for winter. I hate to break it, but it's true. Why? Because you get a strong subtropical jet, and you usually have an infusion of Pacific air that it consistently wants to work its way northward, right? Horizontal ridging. Horizontal ridging with an influx of Pacific air. We like this. That's what we like. That doesn't do that. So just gotta be patient. That's really at the end of the day. I don't have any like breaking news. If that's what you expected. I just have overall what you look for, what to look for. I don't have the answers. I wish I did. Um, Mount Julicoa does some good stuff. We talk about this every once in a while, where the potential for polar vortex disruption happens soon at some point, late December, early January. So I pay attention to that because a lot of times also should mention how the polar vortex dictates a lot of what happens as well. Because obviously, if you have El Nino or La Nina, that plays an important factor. But at the end of the day, the polar vortex is going to have the most say in terms of what's going to happen. So it's not like the polar vortex saves your winter, because sometimes the polar vortex is the reason your winter complete dog crap as well. So you just got to be able to be patient and play a waiting game, all right, and not get your expectations too high or low. That's something that when you're young, really young. When I was younger, it was just I also didn't know weather as well as I do now, but you just look for you just assume that the winter is going to provide big snow at some point, and that's not always the case. You have to be patient, and you have to be willing to concede a lot of the winter. Hopefully, you get that one storm. And for me, a lot of times, right, because I'm going to I'll be back in New York eventually. Um, you gotta just hope you get that one storm, right? Because at the end, right, you remember a lot of times poor winters more than poor storms, obviously, but you remember big storms more than you do big winters. Right? When you go back, you remember the 3 foot snowstorm you got in 2015 or 2016. Right? You remember that, right? Or if you live in Vermont, you freaking remember the 48-inch storm that happened in March. Right? You remember those 3 nor'easters in March, right? You remember like small patterns and big snowstorms more than that. So I would take that into consideration as well. And also, I throw this out there that with the way our climate is heading, right, we've been above average historic, right? And I think I saw a tweet today today was the first day that was not a record breaking average temperature day across the entire globe, meaning that this was the first day that it wasn't a record, that the global average temperature wasn't record breaking. It's like August 15th or something. That's freaking ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Right? So where our climate is heading is we're trending towards maybe warmer averages on winter, but the potential for more dynamic snowstorms. Right? More transient winters. Right? The idea doesn't mean we're not going to have that winter, but over the course of time, the probability that you're going to have a below average winter in terms of temperature, especially for colder places on average, just is going down. All right, and the only way you do that is like in 2021 when you had that big Arctic outbreak that skewed the temperature anomalies. That's how they did. That's how they were so below average that winter. Right? They had that like 1 week period of below average and that like 3 or 4 day period of record breaking, absolute record shattering temperatures in February. And that's how they are below average winter. And that's the way that's going to happen too in the future. So, um, I wouldn't get too caught up in a lot of that stuff. And I'm going to try to fix the chat here while I keep talking. Um, don't worry, I'm still here. I'm still here. I promise. I'll keep talking. And you gotta consider too is there's been a lot of good winters recently as well. So I know that sounds crazy to hear, but there has been. It has not been winters has not been as bad, especially for a lot of people. For the last like a year, pretty good. It's hard to believe, but it's true. So just be patient. Be patient. Um, and I'm sure that there'll be that one storm. There'll be that one storm eventually. And why does Twitter hate me right now? I'm trying, folks. I promise you, I am trying. I'm not getting the cooperation. Now I'll check YouTube. See what we got. Oh, hello YouTube. Well, welcome back. I'm still here, folks. I'm still trying. Again, if you want, you got questions, you can DM me. You can also comment what I try to figure out. But Elon must stay here. Here we go. Wait. Mm, all right. Let's address this here. Oh, marginal looks like. All right. Can I fix this? Let's see if I can fix it here. Hmm. This is a problem. I'll bring you back to screen. I'll show you. I'll show you what I'm looking at. Oh no. Come back, battery. I'll show you. This is what I'm looking at right now. This is all I got. Maybe there's an ability for me in my broadcasts to change that. I don't know. Yeah, if you want to chat, you can hop on YouTube right now if you guys want. Take a look at. I'll take a look at the YouTube chat. I don't think the audio's cutting. I just think I'm talking away from my mic because I'm trying to charge my computer at the same time right now, which evidently is not charging. Um, all right, I explained why this was rain. Big system, hoping for snow. This is a wild rainstorm in Florida today. Yes, Florida did get a lot of rain and tornado. They had a good tornado threat today as well. I didn't see how it verified. Um, Imagine this was all snow. Yep. And wild. Yep. These streams highlight the winter. That's fantastic. A little concerned about your daily life if that's the case, but this is not that special. I appreciate it. Thank you. Hey, how have I been? I've been busy, very busy. I mean, the weather has not been as busy. I mean, it has just been good events, but severe weather and significant, rain, but not snow wise. Just that's my specialty. So thoughts on a white Christmas? Um, New York's got a chance for that because they're going to get back. Appalachians have a chance depending on how much they can hold on. Problem is, see the warm air that's going to flood in after the snow this weekend. All right, and for places for potential snow. Yep. Gotta be careful drawing stuff like that. Gotta be careful. That's your problem for a white Christmas right there. Surface temps, that's your problem. You're gonna be 40s for a few days in a row before that. So Mountain West will have a chance though, but it's like ski resorts, so there's snow and they can make fakes. See that? Say, I will say, talk about this a little bit. This thing still intrigues me. Because this piece is going to shut off from the system. Intriguing. Like, well, we're searching. We're not friggin'. We don't have. There's no slam dunks, but it does intrigue me a little bit because anytime something cuts off from the system, right, in this piece, look at where things come from. Right, where does this originate from? That's cold air. This is the cold air for our system, right? Look where it comes from. Northern Canada. That's where that comes from. That's going to shut off. So now we have a cutoff low that has some cold air that's going to chill in the Atlantic for a couple days that we're currently 6 days out on. Damn near 7. 4 to 6 days out on. Stuff changes. A couple days ago, this was like sleet and snow. I was looking like that. I'm just saying, that's something to keep an eye out on. If you want to look at a way to get a white Christmas and you live in New England, that's one of you. That's how you could theoretically do it. I guess we can look at Pivotal. We can look at the euro. And then I'll look back at YouTube again for questions. And we'll call it. Actually, I need to switch this since nobody can chat in freaking Twitter. Might as well. Appreciate all of you that like the stream on YouTube. Thank you. I'm very quiet on stream for you that don't remember, just because I'm focused. Yeah, you're already supposed to take that. I can get a piece of it. Wanted to look. Just it looked like it. Yeah, maybe it's a little bit. So I mean, That's one thing you could keep an eye on for a white Christmas for some folks in Eastern New England. But that's way down the road, and it's not even worth. That this storm has to clear itself out before to get an idea. But this disorganized, unique feature, kind of an inverted trough kind of feature for a little while. That's going to produce snow across the Appalachians, and then we can maybe look at the potential for some snow in eastern Oklahoma or some sort of frozen precip down the road.
Thanks, John. Not looking good for a white Christmas in the Northeast, correct? Again, so we just get it. You gotta be patient. I'm talking about a lot of the winter thoughts, why things are happening the way they are, and how they what needs to happen, what needs to change, or to get the results a lot of you are looking for in terms of your winter. Right? It's simple. Um, the atmosphere is not so simple though. So getting that to cooperate is the problem. Yes, December, fall these days. Yeah, a little bit. And again, right, I talked about this a little bit as well, but um, the reality is we're heading towards more transient winters. It's climate change. That's the reality. It's less sustained warmth, sustained cold. Well, I mean, I guess technically sustained above average warm temperatures. I guess so. Let me correct myself on that. It's the likelihood for being sustained above average temperatures um, for longer periods and less likely to be in stronger, colder patterns for longer periods of time, right? Even our snowier winters over the past 5 years or so for many locations, um, again, excluding, it makes my point, but the February 2021 cold outbreak, it makes my point in the sense that we're heading towards more drastic temperature changes more frequently. We're also heading towards a period where winter we're going to be looking at periods more sustained warmth for periods of storminess for shorter periods of time. Any snow before Christmas is a bonus. I kind of look at it like that too. I always hope we can get one big storm um, before before Christmas. That's what I always look for. If we can get one storm before Christmas, that can usually set you up to be in good shape for the rest of the winter. Um, that has not happened. That did not happen though. I got one storm. I got to seek it out, so that was cool. My lake effect snow adventure was pretty fun. I guess I could post some of that to YouTube. I could upload some of those clips of the snow for those of you that aren't on Twitter and don't follow me there. So that was cool. I think they probably ended up getting like 20, 25 inches of snow there. But um, when I left, there about like 13 inches of snow, and it all fell in about like 8 hours. So that was pretty cool. That was my first time being in a big lake effect snow event before. Smaller ones, yes, but not one of those ones you look at and you go, yeah, that could be 1 to 3 feet of snow. All right, I don't think anybody was saying all snow with this. I don't mean it depends on where you live, but nobody with this one's been talking. Oh, this one's been pretty much right from the start. Yeah. This one's been all snow, or no, sorry, all rain from the start. GF ensembles, good to look at too in the longer range. That is more positive, but that's a little bit deceiving as well. That's not, but it's hard to explain. So you would still get snow in that pattern, believe it or not, for eastern New England. So that's why sometimes 500 can be deceiving, but the point being remains the same. Remember what we look for? We look for deep ridging out west here, right? And we typically look at center. Why can't I draw? Here we go. Man, that's what I was trying to draw. There we go, right? That's what we look for. It's that kind of flow. And deep troughing out west. Now that is something we can work more with. Right? More so that's down the line. Blocking over here, the flow like this, right? And not getting an absolute influx of warm Pacific air. That's also 324 hours out. And it's harder to get out of patterns than you think it is. I've said that before as well. Stuff. But if I look at the JEPs as well, I like that. Central and southern U.S. troughing with Canadian blocking is always a good thing to look for. So maybe end of December could be something to look at down the road, but that's 144 hours out. Hey, here we go. I don't care. I'll take 18Z or 12Z, whatever. Go bigger. No, that's all we can get. No, you can time out if you want. It's fine. I like that though. That's Canadian blocking and troughing below. Canadian troughing below. It sounds simple. I'm not a weather genius. I just know what to look for, how to interpret it, and I make it sound a little bit stupid, but I know a little bit. I just try to relay those things. So it's not anything too complex, but when you look at when you're looking at 500, just feel long enough where you have a feel for what you're looking at. It's easier to describe why I'm saying what I'm saying on stream here. but also I have more time to think about exactly how I want to say it when I'm putting out a tweet. Um, so yeah, I would look for the end of December. We can maybe start to see change, but for now, no change. Any questions about what we're looking at right now, or any questions about some of the EPO, some of that stuff earlier we discussed? How's the dog been? The dog's been still kicking around. He's a teenager now. I'm glad you guys love the streams. I didn't know how many of you guys would come back. It's been a minute, but I mean, we did do one stream in the fall, or a couple, maybe, over some of the hurricane stuff. But what's the best formation for snow in El Nino? I think that's a little bit for a lot of that stuff we talked about, right? In El Nino, a lot of times you have really active subtropical jet. Well, that's La Nina too, and then I don't want to say active. It's more active in La Nina a lot of times, subtropical jet. But um, you have that. Where did it go? I deleted it. Boom. Right, a lot of times it's an influx of warm air across the western U.S. that moves from west to east, right? And it prevents that deep jet stream from being able to do. So what we want to look for in terms of changes, we want to look for opportunities for more vertical ridging to allow an opportunity for that polar and Arctic air to build down. Another thing to look for is you want to monitor polar vortex disruptions, right? So how the polar vortex works is we discussed this before, but we have this Arctic circle of cold air, right? And I haven't been following. Well, I'm not gonna lie, I've been following super closely the polar vortex. I've been very busy, very busy. But what we look for, just in general, is disruptions that happen, right? This wind, right, that goes around here in the Arctic Circle. We look for disruptions to it, right? And this is holding a lot of our coldest, deepest Arctic air. When we get disruptions, right, this area, it's a little bit farther north, really, but it's the best we can do. Is what happens when we get disruptions is it breaks off, right? And it's going to send, I guess you could call it, pieces of energy down to both sides. And now from there, now we're getting a really wavy jet stream, and we're also allowing an opportunity to get a dynamic piece of energy to drop in. If we look at just the U.S. part aspect, we're getting potential for a dynamic piece of energy to drop in either maybe phase with something from a subtropical jet, or maybe just a single port. So that's a simple way to put it. I'm a little rusty with some of this stuff, but hopefully I described it somewhat well. Again, I'm not
not a genius really, especially when I'm out of practice for a little bit. But we I'll be back in I'll be back in formal once we start getting some more stuff to look at. We get more in depth, a little bit more free time to waste on Twitter. Um, we can start looking deeper in depth with some of the polar vortex stuff, and when we can see potential pattern changes. But yeah, if you guys want to learn some of this stuff, but right, they have all these different things here on this website. I really like it. Puts it simple. So I'll put this. Yeah, I'll put this in the chat for you guys here. Um, you can leave that link right there if you guys want to learn more about this. This is a good website that talks about um, everything that I just did. All right, and so when you get cold air to come in from down from Canada, and you have the right ridging, right, you have the right jet stream pattern. Now it can give you an opportunity to get snowstorms across the northeastern and eastern United States. So we can do these streams more frequently now. So my technology won't be on the fritz. And I'm gonna figure out. I'm gonna get to the bottom of how I can try to make that free for you guys on Twitter. I promise. If I can't, I can't. But maybe we'll just have to go full YouTube in terms of streams. But until then, now I'll put out the YouTube link too, for those that don't know it on Twitter. But well, we can do it as frequently as you want. To be honest, eventually later in the winter, I'll be busy again, so I won't be able to do that. Why should I do that? I don't know. Something with the premium subscriptions, I guess. I don't know. I'm gonna look into it. Right, but when we combine the positive PNA with a negative EPO and a negative NAO. That's what we look for. All right, so I'll put it here. Negative NAO, negative EPO, and positive PNA. In terms of eastern and northeast. Now, I don't know if someone pops into this stream that doesn't live. This is where I made my focus. So if you don't, I apologize for you in advance. But even then, the Sierras aren't really. There's nobody really getting a lot of snow from this pattern right now. So I'm not too excited to be about. But here's one thing that does. This is 18Z EPS, but I do like its little bit of an east-based negative NAO. This does become a west becomes a solid. It's a solid block across Canada, right? And it's an opportunity to warm into the polar vortex here. Warm this, there's a good disruption. So that's one thing I do like about some of these longer range ensembles. Again, long range ensembles are long range. It's not the short range. So it's a lot of more opportunity for different variables. There's more variables with more opportunity for change. It's pretty self-explanatory. But all we can do is wait and be patient. Any last questions? Thanks for the steam. That sounds like a you thing right there. I ain't steaming anything. I'm just streaming. I can't wait for winter too. I can't wait to have some of these. I love tracking these things. So hopefully we can get a storm at some point to look more in depth on. At this point, I'm going to be desperate to stream anything that I can. All right. We'll call it a night. I appreciate everybody for coming in, and maybe we'll go in depth on the win tomorrow night if it really looks like we could get a significant win. But until then, I appreciate everybody for coming in, and I'm going to try to solve the Twitter part of that for you guys. So until next time, peace.